About managing expectations. A lot of what I learned, or a lot of what sparked my understanding of community, I learned from being involved with the Burning Man project. I don't know if any of you are participants. Whether or not you are, you might know that the founder, Larry Harvey, passed away over the weekend, which I knew Larry and learned a lot from him. And one of the things I want to talk about, just to touch on, was Larry's understanding, and what I learned from that about how to manage a community, or really a culture. Because what we're talking about, and what Burning Man beautifully illustrates, is how quickly cultures can be transmitted. Two things here. One, they had adopted the culture that fast. And that's one of the things that you can learn from places like Burning Man. Culture is transmitted really, really quickly, and we're really good at adopting it. So one of the things I can do in community is create cultural expectations that are clearly communicated, that enable people to see a pathway for them to be successful. Note, that pathway for them to be successful is going to help us make successful too. That's part of my role, is to figure those little pathways. So it's my role to sort of nurture that stuff from the developers on up. Certainly the tokens, as I mentioned before, the tokens make it a wonderful incentive, which is trust. And I think that for a community to thrive, you absolutely have to have that level of trust. And that was one of the things. One of the things that I'm very proud of was my work on The Sims at EA. And well, I've got some ideas. Creating a system, creating a platform that will enable people to come in, independent developers, content creators, engineers, and plug in and create content that they can share and bring others to, is going to be just, I think, tremendously popular and successful.
World.
Okay. Yeah, this is absolutely a topic that's been very much in my mind, and the term ecosystem is applied to communities and games was first used by a lady by the name of Amy Jo Kim in a talk she gave at GDC in about 2002. And it was a revelation for me, and one of the things that I've tried to kind of incorporate in my understanding and work with communities sort of since then. And she was talking about The Sims, which I later worked on, but she was talking about how one segment of the community would create content, and that content would have to be reviewed, which would require another segment of the community. That would all have to be put up on a website, so that would require another ecological niche, and eventually it would hit the consumers. And so what you're looking at, and ideally, you've got the company on the end of this, you've got neXus or whoever, looking at this whole thing and taking part, helping to celebrate the positive aspects of it, having recognition for the creators, so as to incentivize other creators, so the whole notion of an ecology in a community is absolutely essential. And one of the things that when Andy and I first started talking, one of the things that and I'm going to talk about later, one of the things that's so exciting to me is this notion of ecology just is a virus throughout the whole system, and it all sort of feeds convergence. It all sort of feeds other pieces, and my role is going to be to help sort of shape the structures so that the various contributions spark other contributions and other successes and become part of the messaging strategy, and so that it all sort of works together as a whole. But again, sort of that notion of an ecology is absolutely central to stuff that I've been doing.